As most of you might know, Floor 4 of Dungeons was just released. It is exponentially harder than Floor 3, and most players, including me, have not even beaten it. The floor requires a long time to do, and unless you're pretty good at the game, you most likely won't be able to do it. Even some of the best players in the game can still not beat this floor simply because of how hard it is. But what I want you guys to know is that even though it's an extremely hard dungeon to do, you must grind it even if you can't even beat it. There are tons of reasons for this, and I'll be listing off a few so you can see if it is actually worth for you to do it. But before the video starts, please consider subscribing if you do end up enjoying the video or enjoy any of my other videos. It's obviously a given that grinding and beating Floor 4 is a really good way to make money right now, as all the items are in high demand and most people can't actually get them because of the difficulty of Floor 4. But if you cannot do Floor 4, but you can do Floor 3, you might be encouraged to keep doing Floor 3 until you can do Floor 4. But you should actually be only doing Floor 4 right now if you want to be the most efficient for money and XP. What you might not know is that you can gain a large portion of XP by simply grinding dungeons Floor 4 and only beating all the floors and getting a decent amount of secrets. This means that if you can get quite a lot of secrets as well as finish most of your milestones, this means you can actually get quite a good amount of XP while actually losing in Floor 4 of Dungeons. In the picture you are seeing now, I did a quick run in Dungeons where I actually purposely killed ourselves at the beginning of the boss fight. This ended up to make the time pretty short at around 15 or 10 to 15 minutes, which means that it was quite a bit faster than a full Floor 4 dungeon run, but I did actually end up getting about 800 XP from this, which is actually quite a bit because on average, if you get an S dungeon run in Floor 3, you will averagely get about 350 XP. So this is a bit more than double that. So the faster you can do it, the more XP you can get from using the method with Floor 4. Obviously, when players in general get better and they learn strategies of killing the boss, then it will be much better to actually kill the boss because that will grant you a pretty good amount of XP. But as of now, it is not known the best way to grind the boss. And if you're not the best at grinding it or have a good team for grinding the boss, which even some of the best players don't have, you are better off just killing yourself once you reach the boss. You might be wondering why you should do Floor 4 over Floor 3, because this is giving you a slight bit more XP depending on how fast you are, but it is quite a lot harder and requires a bit more skill. So what do you get extra out of it that you can't actually get out of Floor 3? The main reason that you should actually be willing to do Floor 4 is simply because of the mob drops. If you didn't know this already, Floor 4 actually has 3 exclusive mob drops and treasure chest drops that can only be found in Floor 4. Out of these 4, actually 3 of these items can turn a pretty good profit. The first item exclusive to Floor 4 is the super heavy armor. As you can see, this is a piece that's dropped from the super heavy mob, and basically it's a pretty good tank set. It sells for about 100k, as this is the cheapest helmet on the bazaar at Bin right now, but say you get a chest plate, you're looking to be making about 250k, and then if you get something like leggings or boots, you can actually be looking to make about almost a mil or 500k on these, which is actually pretty decent compared to most other sets. But the main thing that makes this really good is that if you end up getting a legendary, you can get up to 4.5 mil for a chest plate, and if you get something like leggings, you're looking to be making about 5 mil. If you look at something like Zombie Soldier, which can be obtained on basically every floor, it goes for about 30k, and then the Legendary goes for about 650k, and then the chestplate at 1.5 mil. The reason that there's such a big jump in super heavy armor compared to something like Zombie Soldier, because super heavy armor is first of all exclusive to floor 4, which means less people will be actually getting it, especially because of floor 4 being so hard. But if you are able to do barely floor 4, like not even have to actually be able to beat it, you have the chance of getting this item. And most people will not even attempt to get it because they don't care about doing it unless they can win. So even if you are not able to beat it, you can just still grind in the dungeon simply for the armor pieces. Similarly to the super heavy set, the Earth Shard is a sword, and basically it is another tank item, but is also kinda adapted to your class. So in the way that Adaptive Blade lets you right click to use your class ability, the Earth Shard does that too. The thing about the Earth Shard is that it actually goes for quite a bit, just like the super heavy set, if it's legendary. You can see that this will only go for about 50k if it's an epic. But if we go and we make it so we can only see legendaries, you can see that the increase in the amount of money you need to buy one of these is pretty hefty, and we went from about 50k to 5.6 mil. So if you are lucky enough to get a legendary one, it's actually pretty good. So what you might have noticed with that is that it's actually a pretty rare drop, and usually not many people find legendary pieces of dungeon armor, so it's not the best way to make money. But this next item is something that could make you quite a bit of money. This item is the Treasure Talisman, which can be found in dungeon secret chests. So the chest that you'll usually find something like a decoy in, or an inflatable Jerry or Spirit Leap, you can actually now find this, which is a very rare item that you can find, which acts as a talisman, which also has the ability to grant 1% extra loot in the end of dungeon chests. But it can actually be upgraded, because if you get 8 of these, you can make an epic talisman, and then if you get 9 of those epic ones, you can actually make a legendary talisman. But as you can see on the AH, there's not too many, and my theory is that there's a mix of it being quite rare, but also a mix of it actually being that people just don't really do secrets in dungeons. This dungeon is so hard that I don't think people are really willing to do the secrets, basically meaning less chances for them to actually see this. So if you actually do secrets only and your main focus is secrets, you have a higher chance than most players to actually find this. And right now on lowest price, if you're able to get one of these, you're making about 3 mil. So if you're going through secrets for, I don't know, like a full hour, you're making 3 mil an hour if you're getting one of these. And that's pretty good. So even if you can't do any of the bosses, getting one of these treasure talismans is huge profit. Hopefully later we'll find out how to grind floor 4 more effectively, and some of the strats into beating the boss and other things in general. But as of now, the most effective thing to do for most early game, and not even early game, even late game players, is to actually just go and grind floor 4 but without actually winning, because there's not really too much of a drawback, because you get decent XP and the ability to get some decent jobs. So I really don't see a reason why, because there's no fee to get in, so why not just do it? So if you did enjoy the video, please consider subscribing to support the channel, and I actually might go and look if there's actually a way to get more Catacombs XP, or if it's more efficient to actually kill yourself at the boss than to actually complete the boss. It will take a bit of testing, but if this video actually does get a lot of support, I might actually do it so we can see the actual best method to grinding XP. So if you want to see that, be sure to leave a like, and goodbye.